Hello guys, it's A03 Scorpion here, and today we're playing some Magic the Gathering Online. This is a commentary, but well, I'm recording this after the video, and purely on the basis that I forgot to edit my recording software. So yeah, oops. Right, okay. So as you can see, I'm playing a swamp, then I'm tapping it, and I'm going to put a Tormented Hero from my hand onto the battlefield, if it resolves, of course, which it does, because my opponent doesn't really have any land to do anything. So in this video, this is Magic the Gathering Online, and welcome to it. I'm doing it. This is just me going through all the steps and stuff of it, so yeah, and enjoy this. Right, okay, so the reason I've got the blue outline on my mouse is purely in the fact that I just thought I'd make it easier for you guys to know exactly where my mouse is at all times. So yeah, as you can see, we're just working our way through the phases here. He has played a Plains. I'm now going to play my second Swamp and play a Child of Night, which is a 2/1 lifelinker. And lifelink means that whenever it deals damage to anything that doesn't have first strike, I gain that much life. And I'm now going to attack with my Tormented Hero, because he can't block it at this point because he doesn't have any creatures out. However, he does have the card advantage at this point, I believe. So yeah, this is like 39 minutes long or something. Okay, so as you can see, he took the damage and it goes to 18. This is a few games, by the way. I need to edit some breaks in it. So as you can see, he's playing a Sungrace Pegasus at this point, which is a 1/2 lifelink and flying, which means it can't be blocked except by a creature with reach or flying. Well, I didn't like that, so I tapped one and made -1/-1, and it can't block. So it's a 0/1 at this point with lifelink and flying that cannot block. So there's essentially no use for it, which means I can just swing in for 4, knocking him to 14, and I go up to 22. And then I end my turn. He untaps, he draws for turn, plays his third land. Nothing else. He goes to combat, doesn't attack. So I untap, I draw Sign in Blood, which basically states I lose 2 life and I draw 2 cards. So I'm going to draw these 2, hopefully hit a land. I didn't, so I'm just going to tap my 1 remaining land up to generate 1 swamp, 1 black mana, and play a Tormented Hero. Then again just swing because he stood can't block. However, I'm a wee bit worried about removal at this point because he had 3 mana, but apparently he didn't have any removal, so he just took the damage. Then we just passed. Just go through the phases here. And he just conceded. Obviously he wasn't getting the land, so he just conceded that game, and we go to sideboard. Well, I hadn't seen a lot of his deck, so I didn't really sideboard it. I didn't really bring anything in against him or take anything out, so I just kept it the same. And then I just submitted my deck. However, he was boarding at this point, and that's why we're still waiting at the screen for him. We're waiting for him to submit his deck at this point anyway. So just waiting, just casually waiting. Just very casually waiting. And he left, so I won. And yeah. So obviously I wasn't really feeling up to the game, so you know, we'll be right back when we're back in game 2. So this is what the actual menu looks like, and we're going to see if we can get a game in here. These are all the games which, the games down the bottom, which was just that, are all the games that people are playing. The ones that, as you can see here, these two people are playing. The ones at the top are just matches that are set to do at a certain specific time. As you can see, here's my decks and stuff like that. These are all the sort of formats. I wanted to try and do a draft, but there wasn't actually, there's not a lot going on at this point in the queue, so I'm just sort of going through a lot of the menu systems here and there, waiting for another standard game to begin, waiting for one to appear. So I just decided to host my own, because it was taking a wee while. So we're just waiting on someone to join at this point, and yeah, no, we're just waiting on them to join, and we'll see what happens from there on out. Well, I know what happens, obviously, but I mean, these are just some games that just happen straight after the other, 1, 2, 3. But anyway, I'm still not that I'm really struggling to get stuff done right now for online and whatnot, because my laptop's not exactly working at 100% function, and this is probably about as much as I'm going to be able to get out as this, and some Magic the Gathering cam copies and maybe a Gallade or whatever. But as you can see here, this is a fine hand. I like this hand a lot. I have a 1-drop, a 2-drop, and I've got 3 lands, and I've got my bomb in hand, and some removal. However, it's not ideal. It could be better, and it could be worse. So I kept it because it seems okay. First thought when a mountain hit, mono red. But I didn't see a creature, so don't worry about that flicking. That was literally me just flicking cards. So as you can see, I played a Swamp and a Typhoid Ratch, which is a 1/1 Death Toucher. And Death Touch means it can block anything. If it deals 1 damage to anything, that thing dies. So that's what Death Toucher is. And then I just end my turn, because I can't do any phases. He doesn't actually. I was actually very surprised at this. Actually, he just passed, so he's not got his land at this point. And this is sort of how you can see how games go bad if you don't get your land and whatnot at this point. For him, anyway, because I've got enough land to last me for ages. I got no worries about land or anything. So. He plays a Satyr Hoplite, which then said, right, okay, so it is mono red, because mono red typically runs a lot of 1-drops. So I was a wee bit worried at that point, because I know mono red has beaten this before, and sort of put me on a wee bit of edge going up against it at that point. But yeah, no, I basically just go to combat, declare my attacks. Is he gonna block the Death Touch or what? Because I have mana up, and I know mono red doesn't really like a lot of Death Touch, because it tends to throw out a dude and then fire loads of spells onto it to make that dude bigger. And he blocked the Death Toucher like I was hoping, because I'd rather have him killed the Death Toucher than the Life Linker, because I need to try and draw my life if I come up against a Signing Blood. And then I just throw out another Death Toucher, a slightly worse Death Toucher, but still a 1/1 for 1 with a 1/1 for 2 with Death Touch. So, and then I pass and taps. Oh, his planes hit the field. A planes. That sort of put me on edge with my Death Touch, which purely on the fact that white has some enchantment removal, and because my Death Touch creature is enchantment as well, that sort of threw me on edge. He played this guy. I was like, well, seems okay. You can tap 2 mana, and you can sacrifice him, and creatures get +1/+1. My initial thought was, right, okay, he wants to get loads of dudes out, and then activate that ability, and just make them bigger, all of them bigger, and swing to kill me. So I thought, well, I really want to get rid of that. I don't like it. So I played another Death Touch, another Typhoid Raz. Then I went to combat and swung. And he played this Crowd's Favour. Well, it gives something +1 and +0 and for strike. For 1 mana. Seems very good. Well, I didn't know it was 1 mana at the time, so I didn't expect it. So he gave his thing for strike, blocked the Death Touch. No, he didn't. Sorry, he blocked my lifelink. He blocked my Child of Night because I said for strike my Child of Night died, and I didn't gain any life off of it. However, he did take the one off of the Death Touch, which is fine because Crowd's Favour only lasts once a turn. Now I was looking at his hand here, and as you can see up in the top left of up in the top left of your screen, there's several cards held together with a number on it. Well, that's how many cards is in his hand, and currently I believe it's either 5 or 4. It may be 6. I think it's 5 at this point. Well, the devotion I only have is 1, 2, 3, 4. If I play a card, so I was hoping that he would play something, and he did, lowering his hand to the number which I want. I want his hand to be at 4 when it comes round to my next turn. Purely in the fact that I can just have a look at his hand and say, right, okay, get rid of whatever is going to be the worst for me. So he passes. Still not low enough. So I draw land and say, right, okay, well, I don't like that being there because I don't want dudes to get bigger, so I'm just going to get rid of it. So I just killed it. So I just killed it, and I think it was the right decision to make, killing it, because I don't really, it's not the fact that I don't like it, it's the fact that it's a bit iffy for me with my low drops and big guys and stuff. Well, because I know that white's got a lot of stuff in it, like pacifism and stuff, which can stop my creatures attacking and blocking. You see that card down in the bottom left of the screen? Well, it's called Nightmare. It gets its power and toughness is equal to the number of basic swamps I control. Well, that's why I play in a mono black deck. It's a bomb. When it enters, it's a 6/6 with flying. So, and because I knew that white's got a lot of stuff to stop me attacking with it and blocking with it, put me on sort of edge with it. So I didn't want to play it too early, I didn't want to play it too late. I wanted to make sure I knew what he had in his hand at the time I play it, so that it doesn't end up costing me extra to kill him with. Well, as you can see here, I have a Grey Merchant in hand, but I'm going to play this guy, which allows me to look at my a player's hand and say that player discards a card. And well, I'm gonna say, right, my opponent, as you can see, that's me just selecting my opponent, so I'm targeting him. He reveals his hand, and what do I see in his hand? I see a Crowd's Favour, a Divine Favour, an Oppressive Raise, and a Sungrace Pegasus. Well, that Oppressive Raise I got rid of immediately because that states enchant creature. So basically, you would enchant my Nightmare. I would need to pay 3 extra mana so it's able to attack or block. And so that's turn 9 after that hits the table, and that's a big game changer. So I got rid of that. As you can see, there's me saying, well, I didn't want my Nightmare getting locked down per se. And as you can see, this guy here, my other card, his name's Grey Merchant of Asphodel, and the devotion I've got in the field to black. So say I've got 5 devotion, he loses 5 life and I gain 5 life. So I'm playing the mono black devotion deck, which relies on that sort of stuff. So, well, I'm fine with him gaining the life. So he fires that on his Borderland Marauder, which can be a heavy hitter at times, because as soon as he played it on there, I knew I have to get my Nightmare quick. Because Borderland Marauder can make a big difference in any game. It's a very highly rated card, and you'll see why in a minute. Whenever it attacks, it gets +2/+0, and the blue is what its power and toughness is now. So as you can see, I play my Nightmare. His Borderland Marauder's not really got a chance now standing against my Nightmare. So he untaps. As you can see, he got a little bit. He didn't get enough land. He plays his 4th land. This is about turn 7 at this point. And yeah, so we're gonna see what he does. He taps his land, obviously, and he plays something. He plays a morph. Well, I was worried about that morph because there's a card called Hidden Dragon Slayer in Standard currently, and what it states is when it is turned face up, destroy target creature with, I think it's, give us a sec, I've got one lying around here. I've got one in my hands. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater an opponent controls. So, he would have targeted my Nightmare, and I was worried about that, but luckily, he just conceded the match, and I went on to and played this person. Now, this match was a wee bit slower than what I would have liked it to be. As you can see, they're on 20 life, and I'm on 20 life. This is a new game. I kept this because it seems very good. Could be better. I've got turn 1 Typhoid Rats from them. I'm like, uh-oh, and Ornithopter. So it's not the mono black aggro deck. It's not the mono black devotion deck. Or otherwise, because none of them run Ornithopter. And then I thought, is it going to be black blue artifacts? When that Island hit, and I was saying, please don't play in Soul Artifact, because in Soul Artifact it says turn target artifact. Basically, select an artifact, it becomes a 5/5. So, basically they could target Ornithopter now. They would have a 5/5 flying turn 2, which is a bit of a heavy hitter. So I was a wee bit worried about that when going into this matchup. So as you can see here, he's already dealt 1 damage off of Typhoid Rats. He's ahead currently in everything, in every aspect. I threw down a Death Toucher. I'm sorry, I'm calling them like Death Touchers and stuff. It's just because I've been playing Magic that long. I threw down I just call them Death Touchers, creatures, that sort of thing. Well, I threw down that. I think is it Baleful Eidolon? I think it is Baleful Eidolon, yeah. I put down Baleful Eidolon. And, give us a second, I'll just check. Let me just move this over here. There you go. Right, okay, so, yeah, it's a Baleful Eidolon. As you can see, he's got a lot of creatures out right now. And, it was very worrying. So he attacks with his 1/1 Death Toucher. I block with my 1/1 Death Touch. They both die. Nothing else happens. I played my 3rd land, and I knew that he wasn't attacking with his Child of Night for a reason, because I wanted to keep it alive. I mean, you tend to want to keep your Child of Night alive as long as possible, because it's a very good card. It gets you out of some sticky spots sometimes. And he played this. I honestly have no idea how scared I was when this hit the table. All of his creatures get +1/+1 that are black. So his Child of Night, his Typhoid Rats. So that worried, instant worry. The fear was real at that point. So yeah, he passed, and I drew 2 and lost 2 life because let's say I know exactly how it goes, and I'm not a huge fan of it. So, yeah, the board, he's currently leading on creatures. He's got card advantage, and the only thing I've got is land advantage. However, I have a few cards in here which will help me get card advantage. As you can see, I've got 2 Sign-in Bloods, and I've got a Grey Merchant. That put me in ahead of life, and ahead in cards. The problem with having so many Sign-in Bloods in your hand is it knocks you down a fair amount of life, and you don't want to be ideally below 10-5 in any match. So, well, I blocked with my Death Touch. I said, right, I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm just going to take the other damage. I'm now at 15 life. However, I've drawn Asphyxiate. And Asphyxiate says destroy target untapped creature. Well, I didn't want to do that yet because I haven't played my land this turn, so I figured, well, you know what, I'll Sign-in Blood myself. I was thinking, do I want to Sign-in Blood myself again? And hopefully get a land, or I just want to play a creature. I think, just played the creature because that would have put me on 11 life, and he had stuff that makes these dudes bigger, and I had a lifelinker, so I had my own Child of Night. I attacked with it, realising that I'd come to the wrong decision at this point. I made the right decision on not Sign-in Blood myself again, because I didn't want to. I would have had to discard at that point. So I attack, and then I pass, realising that was a mistake to do. I think I'm not quite sure yet, but I mean, I did that and passed to him. He untapped, and played his Encrust on my Child of Night. Well, Encrust takes tap it and it doesn't untap. So my Child of Night is now stuck sideways permanently. And he goes to combat, he attacks. I can't block, so I take it and go to 11. So at this point I say, right, okay, I need to Sign-in Blood myself. Hit a land. Bang. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Hit a land. I needed that land. So I play my land and I play my Death Touch in order to slow down his Paragon from attacking. I then decide to attack with my Tormented Hero, because I figured, well, he's going to lose a creature if he blocks. Well, he didn't block, so he went to 19. And then I passed, leaving my Typhoid Rats up. He plays this, and I'm like, oh no. It's hand disruption. I don't want to be getting that now. Not with the hand I've got. As you can see, I've now got 2 Grey Merchants in hand. That just wins. If you get 2 Grey Merchants in hand and you play your cards right, you can just win with them alone. So basically, I put down a land and I said, right, I'm at 9 life, I need to get some life here. So I played a Grey Merchant. So I gain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 life, and he loses 5. So that puts me up to 14. It puts me in a much better position, and it puts him to 14. And that's it. It's beginning to go downhill for him now, because he's realising that we're both at the same life total, and he realises that I'm playing the Mono Black Devotion at that point. So I want to try and conserve my creatures. I want to keep my creatures back. I want to be taking a wee bit of damage and dealing slight damage to them, as well as creating a whole load of creatures, and then I literally just want to play Grey Merchant, and it should be over. That's what I'm aiming to do with my deck. So at that point, he realised exactly what my plan was, and he tried to get rid of my hand. He had to get rid of my hand because he didn't want me to get another Grey Merchant in hand. Well, I attack since it's got flying, so I can't block. So I take the damage. I play a land and think, right, okay, I'm going to get rid of that Paragon. I don't want that Paragon being around anymore, because that's given all his goods, all his creatures buff buff, if you will, a buff, and I don't want that. So yeah, I get rid of it. You can't do much about it, I don't think, because he's got 0 cards in hand. Then I say, right, okay, now what do I play? I've got 4 land. Do I honestly just play my Intimidate creature, or do I play a Tormented Hero? Well, I thought, well, the creature with Intimidate basically means it can't be blocked by anything other than the same colour than it. And I thought, well, that's not going to be very good in this matchup because he plays black. But I played it anyway. I said, right, okay, I'll just chuck it out there, see what it does, see if it does a wee bit of damage. And believe it or not, this Intimidate, which is called Cursed Spirit, does a lot of damage. Right, well, this states that whenever it untaps, I have to discard a card. So I discard my Tormented Hero and put the top card off of my library into my graveyard, and you can see me checking, and it turns out to be a Typhoid Rats, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it not having a Typhoid Rats. So he plays his own Tormented Hero, and stuff's beginning to balance out. Well, he attacks with this flying creature, so I always have to take damage because I can't block it. At this point, I said, right, okay, I need to play my Grey Merchant. Well, hold on, look, I drew this, and this is the worst mistake I've ever done in Magic. What I should have done is tap 2 mana and played the Baleful Eidolon. However, I tapped 5 and played the Grey Merchant first. And we'll see what happens. He's counting up. He slows down here because he's counting uphill. So he loses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 life. He loses 8, and I gain 8. So I go to 19, and he loses 8. So that leaves him on 5. Well, I should have put him to 4. Then I could have just attacked, leaving him on 1 life, and at that point he was dead. But I miscalculated it. What I thought I would have done there was do that, knock him down, and keep my Baleful Eidolon in my hand to discard it once that thing untaps, because I've not got him dead this turn. I was right, I don't have him dead this turn. However, it wasn't going to be a big deal if I just got rid of my Shadowcloak Vampire, because I had outmatched him with creatures at that point. I would have outmatched him with creatures, so he would have took the damage. And however, I wanted to keep my Shadowcloak Vampire in case. Well, look, that thing's going to keep on attacking. That wee flying dude's going to keep attacking, so I can essentially just Shadowcloak Vampire, give it flying, and swing and that's him dead. That was my initial thought. But later on, I realised that, well, maybe that wasn't the best plan to follow. But it works out okay, I think. It works out okay. So yeah, he's still trying to work it out and stuff. Some players are very slow in here. As you can see, the time up in the left, that's his time, and down in the bottom left is my time. And you can see his just ticking away. Well, he's trying to figure out. Still trying to work out the damage and stuff, the way this is all going to work. Believe it or not, this isn't actually a bad deck. I've played mono black back when I first started, and it worked okay. Granted, I didn't have Grey Merchant at the time. I had very little of Grey Merchant, and then I just picked them up as I went along. And I've always been a big fan of it. So as you can see, I just attack with all my creatures. He's at 5 life. Well, I thought, well, what he should do is he should block the 3/2 and the 2, one of the 2 attacks. But he doesn't. He blocks a 2/4 and the 2/1, and he takes 4. And this was the part where I realised I messed up. I should have tapped the 2 and should have played the Baleful Eidolon, and he would have been dead that turn. He would have just died. I would have just gone, but he just conceded, because he knew I had him beat anyway at that point. And this was sideboard, I wasn't feeling too great about the Cursed Spirits, so I took a couple of them out. I brought in a couple of Saloon Guard Butchers, because -3 is pretty good against a lot of decks with 2-1s in them. And stuff like that. And that flying thing, I didn't want that happening again, so I figured, well, that'll kill it. Even if it's tapped. And then I submitted the deck, and we started again, and this was game 2. Well, he's gonna start first of all, so he starts, so I'm in the draw. I'm good with this. So we're waiting on him to decide if he's gonna start our first or second. And he's saying starts first. Well, this hand, it was okay. It was good. I had 1 drops. I had a turn 1 play. I didn't have a turn 2. I didn't have a turn 3. I didn't have a turn 4. I didn't have a turn 5. Well, I did have a turn 5, but I wasn't happy with it, because it was way too high curved compared to the land. So I mulliganed. This is worse. This is worse. So I mulliganed to 5. Well, I've got a turn 1 play. I've got a turn 2 play, even if I don't draw my land. So it's looking okay. And I've got a way to gain life. This is fine. So I kept this one. So turn 1, he goes Swamp into Ornithopter. I go Swamp into Tormented Hero. Why Tormented Hero, not Typhoid Rats? Well, because his deck's not very aggressive to begin with. Mine's isn't that aggressive either. It's important that I can get a more aggressive start on him, and that was why I did the turn 1 into Tormented Hero, because it's a 2-1 for 1 instead of just a 1-1 with Death Touch. So I figured, well, when it comes back to me, either he's losing his Ornithopter or he's taking 2 damage, and you don't want to be taking a lot of damage early on. You don't want to be taking a lot of damage late on either. So he plays his land, taps his 2, plays a Child of Night, which is a lifelinker 2-1. He does his stuff. He does more stuff. I'm waiting on him to do stuff. That's why my mouse is going crazy right now. But no, this is all the phases down here in the bar. As you can see, we're going through them all bit by bit. Right, he goes to combat. Does he attack? No, because I wouldn't block, and I would just take the 0 damage. So he just passes at this point. So I untap, I draw. I have 2 swamps. I need to. Ideally, I'm looking to hit a land. So I hit a land. I'm fine. I hit a land. I lost 2 life and drew 2 cards. So I'm now leading with card advantage. I'm now 1 card ahead of him. Yeah, I needed to get card advantage that game because I mulliganed to 5. He stayed at 7. So I've now got 5 cards in hand, and he's got 4. So I've managed to even the score on that. So it's sort of looking back towards me here. At this point in time, anyway. And well, I'm now waiting on him again. He was very slow this game. Actually, he was very slow, like unbelievably slow this game. Yeah. So I played my 3rd land, and I thought, well, Stabwind's is an okay card in this match. It's a removal at the end of the day, or it's just something to make him lose life. Ideally, I want it to be to make him lose life, but it eats a creature at the end of the day, so it kills something. So I'm fine with it either way. So I throw out a black cat, which says whenever it dies, target opponent? Give us a second. I've got one line around here. Give us 1 second. What was that? What were we looking at? Oh, I've got one more crew merchant. I was looking. Actually, that's something. Why don't I have that on the deck? I'll probably put that in. Anyway, what were we looking at? Black cat. Black cat. Sort by color. Right. Okay. So black cat is a 1/1 for 2 that states whenever it dies, target opponent discards a card at random. Okay. Well, this I played the Typhoid Drats there, as you can see, and I played this because I wanted to make sure that he lost all of his cards. I wanted to make sure I knew what every single card in his hand was. And I realised that I've got Stab Wound in hand. And look, so does he. He's got 2 negates and a Stab Wound. Right, at this point, if he Stab Wounds my Grey Merchant, I'm in a spot of trouble here. However, I'm okay with him stopping me from Stab Wounding his creature, so I took the Stab Wound. Because I know how much of a pain that thing is. It's won games and I've lost games to it. Well, I don't want him stab wounded my Grey Merchant, so I know what his cards are now. He's got 2 negates in hand, so as long as I play my Stab Wound when he's not got the mana up, I'm good. And sure enough, he just spends the mana to draw 2 cards, and I knew for a fact he just top decked that, so he literally just took that off the top of his library. So he drew 2 cards. I don't know what any of them are, for all I know, but he's not got mana up to counter anything now. He's not got any mana to counter anything. And Evolving Wilds he plays, so he drew an Evolving Wilds as well. So I now only don't know one of his cards in hand. So my instant thought is, right, well, I'll throw down a 1-drop and I'll get rid of his Child of Night now, because he can't do nothing about it, and it's going to be fun watching him sit there with 2 cards in his hand of which he cannot use. So I get rid of it, like so, and I go to combat and just attack, just send the team in. Now, if he had any sense here, he would have blocked either the Black Cat or the 3/1. Oh, sorry, the 1/3. But he didn't. He just took it. And honestly, it frustrated me there. But no, I just took the 3, knocking him down to 15. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 devotion now to black. So I play Grey Merchant. He's going to 7. And I'm doing okay. So yeah, no, I was okay with this. I was fine with this. I was very fine with this. So he activates his Evolving Wilds, goes searching for a land, puts it onto the battlefield tapped, shuffles his library, and then passes. I draw a Shadowcloak Vampire. I'm good. I was looking for a land. I didn't get it at this point. I needed a land. I need a land. But so at this point I decide, well, look, either he's gonna block, he's gonna either attack into me with that 2/2, which I'm fine with because I've got Grey Merchant in hand. I can gain the life back. Like, I can gain the life back easily. Or what I do is I just attack with my Death Touchers and keep attacking like that. So I decide, well, you know what, I'll attack with my Death Touchers, see if it blocks, and he just concedes. So I won that. So you know, that was Magic Online with me for the first episode. Sorry about all this commentary and stuff. For the next one, I'm gonna make sure that I do it. As you can see, I draw cards until I find my land, and it was like what 1/5 or something turns away. So you know, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye. I'll make sure my mic's working for next time, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.